Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the Ncwlife Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our very windy weather window late this afternoon, early evening. You can see the grass and sagebrush blowing there around Orondo. We actually had a wind gust earlier of 48 miles an hour in the Wenatchee area with steady winds of 37 miles an hour. Not quite that speed right now, but still very windy out there. In fact, all over north central Washington and into eastern Washington, we are seeing windy conditions. You can see Moses Lake, 40 mile an hour gust, 44 mile an hour gust at Ritzville, and that means a lot of blowing dust. So after work or tonight, if travels take you east on I-90 towards Moses Lake or Spokane, you might run into some blowing dust, reducing visibility. So keep that in mind if you are traveling at least till about 9 o'clock tonight, and then winds should ease up just a bit. But it's a roller coaster ride in our weather forecast, and we'll have all those details coming up for you a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. 2 fatalities in separate vehicle accidents in Grant County yesterday morning. And I-90 westbound was closed for 6 hours last night following a 7-vehicle crash about 2 miles east of Cle Elum. But first we begin tonight. An 84-year-old Wenatchee man and his pet dog were injured after crashing his off-road vehicle on 5th Street this morning. Captain Edgar Reinfeld says it happened around 7:15.
He was blinded by the morning sun and apparently drifted and struck a parked car hard. The driver was ejected from his vehicle, and I don't know what level of restraint he may or may not have been using. The many side-by-sides lack doors or effective doors, and so ejection's a lot easier than with an enclosed passenger car. But he was ejected, and his dog that was with him also suffered minor injuries.
The injured man was transported to Confluence Health for treatment. The Grant County Sheriff's Office reports a 64-year-old Royal City woman was killed Monday morning in a 2-vehicle accident near Quincy. Isidra Romero Ramos was a passenger in a 1998 Honda Civic being driven north in the 8500 block of Adams Road by Lodgario Romero of Royal City. Lodgario Romero attempted to turn into a driveway but pulled instead into the path of a southbound 2005 Nissan Altima being driven by Ricardo Perez Apollonia of Quincy. Isidro Romero Ramos died at the scene while Lodgario Romero suffered head injuries. He was taken to Quincy Valley Medical Center, then transferred to Wenatchee Valley Hospital. Perez Apollonia was treated for minor injuries. The accident remains under investigation, but drugs and alcohol were not involved. It was one of 2 fatal collisions in Grant County on Monday. 41-year-old Rosalia Zepeda of Othello was killed in a 2-vehicle collision just east of Moses Lake on Road L Northeast. She was driving a 2001 Dodge Neon North when her vehicle was hit by a 2013 Chevrolet Cruze being driven by Carmen Ortega Camacho of Warden. Ortega Camacho failed to stop at the stop sign at Nelson and Road L Northeast. The sheriff's office reported that Zepeda died while en route to the hospital. Ortega Camacho suffered minor injuries. Well, I-90 westbound was closed for 6 hours last night following a 7-vehicle crash about 2 miles east of Cle Elum. The accident happened when the driver of a tractor-trailer rig jackknifed the vehicle, causing a chain reaction crash involving 4 other big rigs and 2 passenger cars. No injuries were reported, but the highway was closed until 2 a.m. Troopers report the driver of that jackknife truck was traveling too fast for conditions. Well, coming up next, following the president's announcement yesterday that a trade deal has been reached with Canada, Washington's 4th District Congressman Deal-Newhouse reacts. Beginning this month, the Chelan County PUD will conduct helicopter transmission and distribution line checks in Leavenworth and Lake Wenatchee. And Oktoberfest in Leavenworth begins its 3-weekend run on Friday, and the Washington State Patrol is preparing for it. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the Ncwlife Evening News.
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been.
It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome. Give it a try.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
The physical therapists at Cascade Medical love the outdoors as much as you do. But sometimes where there's love, there's also pain. Let us help you get back to the activities that you love. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
Welcome back. In another news, following the president's announcement yesterday that a trade deal has been reached with Canada, Washington's 4th District Congressman Deal-Newhouse said the new deal is good for manufacturing and is especially good for the area's farmers and ranchers.
The U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, I think, is outstanding news for American farmers, ranchers, and manufacturers. Under this deal, Central Washington wheat farmers gain fair treatment and dairy producers gain greater access to the Canadian market. American workers needed a level playing field, and President Trump kept his promise to renegotiate NAFTA with that goal. So I applaud the work of President Trump and the U.S. Trade Representative, Mr. Robert Lighthizer, in successfully pushing to modernize the trilateral agreement with our closest trading partners. This is a good day. Good progress for agricultural producers, not only Washington State, but the entire United States.
Beginning this month, the Chelan County PUD will conduct helicopter transmission and distribution line checks in Leavenworth and Lake Wenatchee. The PUD says the helicopters will fly at a low altitude along the power lines and will take photos and collect data using light detection and ranging technology and other sensors. The flights are set for business hours starting in early October and could take several weeks to complete. Oktoberfest in Leavenworth begins its 3-weekend run on Friday, and the Washington State Patrol is preparing for it. In a press release earlier today, State Patrol says it will implement extra patrols to catch people driving under the influence to prevent serious injuries or fatal collisions. The Washington State Patrol Mobile Impaired Driving Unit, or MEDU, will be in Leavenworth during the event. The MEDU is a self-contained 37-foot motorhome that travels across the state to support all law enforcement during driving under the influence emphasis. That includes Oktoberfest. The MEDU is equipped with 3 breath test instruments and 2 holding cells to efficiently process impaired drivers, which helps troopers quickly return to patrol. If arrested for DUI, you could face up to 1 year in jail and up to a $5,000 fine, and your vehicle will be immediately towed and impounded. You're watching the Ncwlife Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the Ncwlife Evening News. Stay with us.
Choose the pros, Alignment Pros. When your vehicle needs brakes, shocks, struts, or alignment, choose the experts in their field. Alignment Pros and Express Lube with a 5-star rating. The work they perform on your vehicle is as impeccable as their shop. With state-of-the-art equipment, Alignment Pros can handle all large or small vehicles, specialty cars, lifted or lowered. Alignment Pros does them all. Keep your car in top shape at Alignment Pros and Express Lube in East Wenatchee.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, you know, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Welcome back to the Ncwlife Evening News. 2019 looks to be an austere budget year for Chelan County. In tonight's features story, October is when commissioners begin the preliminary budget process as department heads submit their wish lists. Commissioner Doug England says the county should be able to cover the cost of basic services despite an expected drop in sales tax revenue.
But right now it's strong. Most of the projections have borne out, and so we look like we're in good shape. But we also have to be cognizant of the fact that a few of the things that brought us money in, everything from Old Station to Holden Village, won't be there in the future, and so we have to kind of plan ahead and figure out how we're going to spend things.
Okay. I'm guessing that when we get all our requests in from the department heads and other electeds, that we'll be like most other jurisdictions, we'll have more requests than we'll have projected revenue. And so, like Doug's mentioned, the fact that we have reserves to help offset whatever shortfall there might be to maintain the services will be very helpful to have those reserves. But you know, when you talk to other places, other cities and counties, most that I've talked with anyway, they are, you know, having shortfall in what the projected revenues versus the expenditures will be. So I'm sure we'll have to do some paring down.
Unfunded government mandates are still an issue, particularly in the courts where counties are required to pay for indigent defense costs. Commissioner Keith Gaynor says it's a major issue that could end up in court.
The state of Washington is number 6 in the nation as far as states providing offsets for that, and so, you know, we as counties are very serious about filing a suit in order to get, you know, some compensation for the services that we provide on behalf of the state. Mm-hmm. So that will be something that could bring some relief to the counties, but then it puts a burden on the state too to figure out how to fund, you know, more of the indigent defense.
Time now for a check of your north central Washington weather forecast. But before we get to the details of that, let's take another look outside our weather window, where once again we are seeing lots of wind out there today all across north central Washington. I mentioned it at the top of the newscast. We saw a wind gust earlier of 48 miles an hour with a steady wind of 37. And you can see the grass and sagebrush around the Arrondo area, or from our Arrondo camera, blowing quickly, you might say, right now. Today, about like normal though, as far as high temperatures go. We reached a high of 70 degrees today. 52 is our overnight low. 69 now is our normal high temperature, so actually a little bit above that today. 46 is our normal low with the clouds last night. It kept our temperatures up a little bit overnight. No new precipitation, and 4.41 is where we're stuck on for moisture, I should say, from January until now. Sunrise this morning was at 7:01 and will set tonight at 6:38. Taking a look at our surface loop and what we can expect going in through the rest of the week and into our upcoming weekend. Tonight at 9 o'clock, this is what we should be seeing. A cold front is moving its way through Washington. That's what's kicking off this wind. We do have a 20% chance of showers by 9 o'clock tonight, and look at the snow flurries in parts of the Cascades. By tomorrow, that cold front will move through. We'll see mostly sunny skies, a lot lighter wind, but much cooler air right behind that cold front too. In fact, we'll be about 7 to 8 degrees below where we should be this time of year. A bit of a warm up on Thursday though. We'll see partly cloudy skies as high pressure off the coast continues to bring nice weather in. But look what happens on on Friday, another area of low pressure moves in, and the flow comes up from the south. That's a much favorable flow for us in Wenatchee to see rain, and we have a 40% chance of showers on Friday night. Saturday mornings, we could still see some lingering showers as that storm system pushes well into the Rockies by then. Partly cloudy skies by the afternoon on Saturday, and then back to some decent weather on Sunday. Once again, high pressure bringing that nice warm air into north central Washington, and that will warm us up and bring us lots of sunshine. Keep in mind, Monday is Columbus Day, but beyond that, it looks like a gigantic storm system is headed our way, and we'll keep you posted on that throughout this week. Let's take a look now at your quick lube and tune forecast. Tonight won't be too bad, but it will be cold. 40 degrees for our overnight low, and that's the coldest reading that we have had so far this season, and that means a cool day tomorrow. I mentioned cooler temperatures, 61 tomorrow, 42 the overnight low on Wednesday, 66 your high temperature Thursday, once again 42 the low. As we get into Friday, that's where that rain shower activity comes in. A 40% chance of rain, especially by the afternoon and evening hours on Friday. I know lots of sports going on Friday. Bring your umbrella and rain gear, that's for sure. 45 the low on Friday. Still some lingering showers, a possibility on Saturday morning. We'll see about a 30% chance of that happening. And then 64 degrees will be our high temperature, 43 our low. Sunday will warm up to 67, 43 the low then, and pretty much the same as we move into Monday with 63 degrees our expected high temperature and 41 degrees our low. And that's going to do it. That's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, Eric Granstrom with sports and more as the Ncwlife Evening News continues right after this.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job.
I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you.
Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
The Ncwlife channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's Learn, Guada TV, Street Talk and Other Stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. Ncwlife channel is your local TV station.
And now it's a sports update on the Ncwlife channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. The Wenatchee Panthers soccer team improved to 8-2 on the season overall last night with a big win against Kashmir. A makeup game at Lebofto Field at the Apple Bowl. 7-1 the final score. Wenatchee sits atop the Big Nine standings at 5-1 and will sit back and watch the rest of the league play tonight. In fact, we'll have Eastmont and Moses Lake live tonight on the Ncwlife channel. Wildcats just behind Wenatchee in the standings at 4-1, tied with the Chiefs. I'll be alongside Matt Wiesen with your play-by-play beginning at 6:50 with our pregame here tonight on Channel 12 and 19. Also streaming on our website, ncwlife.com. Also today on the pitch, it's Chelan hosting Cascade, while Manson's on the road at Oroville. Girls volleyball action tonight. It is a full slate. Cascade Christian starting things off at Riverside Christian. Eddie, it's on the road at Moses Lake Christian. Then 3 matches starting at 6:30 has Manson hosting Liberty Bell. Tedascott's at Waterville Mansfield, and Cascade is in Chelan to take on the Goats. Then at 7 o'clock, Eastmont's home hosting Davis tonight, while Wenatchee's on the road with that tough task traveling to West Valley. Now, speaking of volleyball, here's what we have on the schedule this week for the Ncwlife channel. It starts tonight, as we mentioned. Soccer, 7 o'clock, Eastmont hosting Moses Lake. Then live on Thursday, Wenatchee takes on Ike. I'll be courtside at 7 o'clock with Leanne Branham. Then on Friday, Grant Olson and yours truly will be at Lee Bofto Field of the Apple Bowl for a second consecutive Wenatchee Panther game as they'll take on the West Valley Rams. Our pregame, that is, Friday night at 6:45. Well, two National League divisions went to a tiebreaker game yesterday as we checked the Les Schwab scoreboard. Lorenzo Cain's RBI single broke a 1-1 tie in the 8th, and Ryan Braun followed with a run-scoring single as Milwaukee claimed the NL Central with a 3-1 win in Chicago. That puts the Cubs in a must-win wildcard game today against Colorado as the Rockies fell to the Dodgers last night 5-2. Los Angeles led by two-run home runs from Cody Bellinger and Max Muncy. Well, Mariner news, Mel Stottlemyre Jr. will not be back as the Mariners pitching coach next season. The 54-year-old is the only member of the 8-man coaching staff not being asked to return in the wake of Seattle's 89-73 season, in which its pitchers posted the 17th best ERA out of the 30 major league teams at 4.13. Manager Scott Servais said, quote, "We're going a different direction there." Servais said Mel has been with him since he got the job last 3 years. He says, quote, "I have a very close relationship with Mel. I just thought with where we're at currently and where we want to go forward, we'd have a different voice and different direction there." End quote from Coach Scott Servais. Well, speaking of coaches, Seahawks coach Pete Carroll met with reporters on Monday at the team's facility in Renton and confirmed, as we suspected, Earl Thomas broke his leg in Sunday's victory over Arizona.
He fractured the tibia in really almost the same area where he did it before, and he was trying to jump over the receiver on the ground, and he just kind of kicked him, and it hit right in the same spot, and he knew exactly what happened. He felt, just the same and all that. So.
Now, if you watch the game on Sunday, Thomas was shown on Fox's broadcast making an obscene gesture towards the Seahawks bench area as he was carted off the field. Carroll was asked about that, said he understood Thomas's feelings in that moment.
Under the circumstances, to handle what just happened in a flash of a moment, and with all of the knowledge that he knew where he was going, he knows exactly what the injury was. He knew exactly, I'm sure it flashed in his mind, this is going to take this long, and this time, how could this, all of the stuff that's going through his head. You got to give everybody a break. You can have expectations for people to do exactly as you would think they should do, but until you're there doing it and you understand it, you got to give guys some room. And so that's exactly how I feel about it. I know that probably some of our other players know that, and people who've been in the situation understand. And I get it when people want to pass judgment and try to cast aspersions and all that about something. But in the heat of the moment, with all the emotional part of this, and the injury and the pain and the discomfort, all of that, shoot, man, we'll give the guy a break.
Tedrick Thompson will take over the safety position for Thomas this week when Seattle hosts the Rams Sunday at CenturyLink Field. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom on the Ncwlife channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Washington Governor Jay Inslee is looking a lot like a candidate for president in 2020, Politico reports. Inslee will be in Johnson County, Iowa on October 14th to take part in two events. In June, he headlined an Iowa Democratic Hall of Fame dinner. Iowa is the traditional launching ground for presidential bids. Inslee told Politico he is not ruling out a run for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2020. He said his party needs a candidate who is, quote, committed to climate change and defeating climate change, end quote. In August, Inslee also said he was not ruling out running for a third term as governor. And now, recapping our top stories, an 84-year-old Wenatchee man and his pet dog were injured after crashing his off-road vehicle on 5th Street this morning. Captain Edgar Reinfeld says it happened around 7:15.
He was blinded by the morning sun and apparently drifted and struck a parked car hard. The driver was ejected from his vehicle, and I don't know what level of restraint he may or may not have been using. Many side-by-sides lack doors or effective doors, and so ejection's a lot easier than with an enclosed passenger car. But he was ejected, and his dog that was with him also suffered minor injuries.
The injured man was transported to Confluence Health for treatment. I-90 westbound was closed for 6 hours last night following a 7-vehicle crash about 2 miles east of Cle Elum. The accident happened when the driver of a tractor-trailer rig jackknifed the vehicle, causing a chain reaction crash involving 4 other big rigs and 2 passenger cars. No injuries reported, but the highway was closed until 2 a.m. Troopers report the driver of the jackknife truck was traveling too fast for conditions. Well, thanks to cooler temperatures and higher humidity, fire restrictions have been lifted for most state lands in eastern Washington. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife lifted the restrictions Monday on most department-managed lands. With a lessening threat of wildfires, restrictions were also recently lifted by the State Department of Natural Resources, which provides fire protection for many state wildlife areas. Fish and Wildlife still urge campers to be extremely cautious with campfires and any other activity that could spark a wildfire. Some localized restrictions will remain in place, including a campfire ban through October 15th at all Department of Fish and Wildlife areas in Benton, Franklin, Yakima, and Kittitas counties. In addition, a campfire ban is in place at the Columbia Basin Wildlife Area in Grant and Adams counties. That goes through October 31st. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with your host Dan Kuntz and all the day's news with Steve Hare. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
Yes, we are live from Studio 2. I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We got news, we got sports, we got weather, we got obscure holiday, today in history and birthdays. Tom Potter joins me in studio. How are you? And Rod Cool is my guest today. The expert is Bonnie Orr. We're broadcasting live from Studio 4, from Studio 2, Studio 7 here in downtown Wenatchee. Time for the obscure holiday of the day. Your Dog to Work Day, Beautician's Day. It's National Selfie Day, and in honor of National Selfie Day, I'm going to take a picture of myself.
Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, mornings at 7 o'clock on the NCW Life channel.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best. Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Just as the cool mornings and evenings are returning to our valley, Carrier and Alpine Air are offering best-in-class rebates and promotions to keep your home comfortable and safe this winter. Call for your free estimate today. Ask about rebates to $1,650 and low interest, low payment financing. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call 662-6846. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hello, and what is up? Welcome to Career Shift Business Edition. I've got 3 choices: certificate, associates, and bachelor's. I'm going associates. And I'm enrolled. Stay alert, this game moves pretty fast. Whoa, Exams almost did me in. I'm back on track and picking up speed. And I'm in the home stretch. Degree complete. I'm ready to go to work. Charter helped me make that career shift. Your turn.